let's see what they can do for game 2 then, because Dignitas here, you know, they've got an opportunity to answer back in this one, maybe find the split here up against it. We will have a switch up because Dignitas will take order side this time round. Bipolar Method on the Chaos side, which means picks and bans could be a little bit different this time round.
It really comes down to the bans. Obviously, Dignitas banning away Terra in that last situation. Are Bipolar Method going to do the same? Do they feel like they would rather have the Fafnir, or are they going to just ban both of those supports?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think they respect Terra very much though, so Dignitas here. If they ban Terra, they say Fafnir is not as bad as Terra.
It's possible. It's going to be Nemesis,
But then you
Wukong.
give them Fafnir and Wukong.
Maybe. Wukong and Terra are going to be banned away, so Dig likely not having practice with Terra, or maybe a little bit wary about potentially picking it up and letting Trix have that Faf.
Well, Susano's got through here. What was the other ban we saw last game? It was a Freya ban, wasn't it?
It was a Freya ban against Suntouch.
But I don't think we could see that happen. I like the idea of taking Bacchus here as well, away from Trixtank as one of his potential threats. But
And Big Man also a really good Bacchus. Dignitas like that engage tool. Bipolar Method going to strip Raijin away from ShadowNightmare. They have a couple options to go through here. I don't think it's going to be a support though. They could look to go back to Xaliea, give him something dominating in lane like a Robin again.
Very early to get the Robin though,
I think so too.
Right?
But like in this situation, you would have maybe a Bacchus or maybe your support and then go immediately into the Robin after that. But because Bacchus is already online, Bipolar Method don't need to focus on that.
I'd say Jingwei.
Or they could look for a Hunter, which would either be Neath or Jing more than likely.
Jingwei against a back is very good, and we just saw Funballer's performance on that game. He's quite comfortable and happy to play that god. Seen a lot of rise just lately. However, they're going to go with Susano. He was left available last game and this game too.
And Dig, now they could go for the Jingwei. They have to know that Bipolar Method loves running it, or strip the Neath away, something that's been a staple in one of BM's team comp for the last year. Lawbster very good on that god, and it actually did set up numerous kills in the early. Like Bipolar Method had the fewer amount of kills for most of that game. The only kills they got were off of the Neath ults.
I mean, I agree with that, but at the same time, with Lawbster playing Raijin this game already, having Funballer on it, it's not something that we normally see him really run too much the Neath. Yeah, they'll go to it, but he's more of an aggressive player.
That's true. We could see multiple options from Dig, though. Probably, yeah, maybe they won't want to strip that away.
It's a little bit too early to really do that now, I suggest. I mean, counterban phase is also available too, but Dignitas taking the whole time to think this through. They're going to go with a bit of global presence there with Janus, and there is the Freya for Suntouch.
So this is more players that are attuned to certain gods, right? Obviously, ShadowNightmare has been playing Janus at an incredibly high level for the past, 2 years, whenever Janus was released. And Suntouch, coming into the Hunter position, has found Freya to be that very stable, safe laning for him. But what we have seen is Jingweis do very good against Freya, and I don't see any reason that Bipolar Method would not go that. Instead, though, Funballer going to take his own magical Hunter.
Could flex it to the solo lane, but I highly doubt that one. Fenrir has been banned, making sure FrostiaK doesn't get that. Basically, Bacchus and Fenrir has been the go-to for them predominantly for Dignitas this split. So it's going to be a bit of a junglers from Bipolar Method and supports by Dignitas.
And Bipolar Method banning away the global ultimate of Ratatoskr. Obviously, Thor's still up, but just wanting to keep that out of the hands of FrostiaK. FrostiaK was one of the few players who actually played old Ratatoskr once he had taken a couple nerfs out of his first release. Very good with the god, and we've seen Ratatoskr sneak back into the meta in recent days, mostly because of the knockup from his ult.
Yeah, and that's really provided so much just because of the area of effect it does with that knockup as well. It hits so many people, forces out purification a lot of the times, or guarantees some kills. Well, what support are we going to see Trix on today? Geb's up, Sylvanas is up, and then I'm starting to really think, oh, Guan Yu.
It's Guan Yu, man. It's
Maybe
the Warriors. Go into the Warriors.
Could be solo still.
It's Trixtank there. Thor does get picked up. It's Trixtank. It's Guan Yu, man. Come on. He stole Fire Giant from Cog Prime at the launch tournament. Thor, though, the global rotation, this is also something FrostiaK has found very staple in his kit. This is just comfortability, I think, coming out from Dignitas. Bacchus on Big Man, Janus for ShadowNightmare, Freya for Suntouch, FrostiaK to Thor, and then in the solo lane, Bellona going to be picked up for Ducky, and that's the god he actually played when he subbed in for Panthera. This is just comfortable.
It is.
Comfortability.
I think that's the best thing to do, though, is go on your comfortable gods here. It's still a very well-rounded comp overall. Little bit slack on clearing towers, though, as we mentioned with Freya here. Objective-wise, I mean, objective's good, but towers different.
Yeah, obviously, Dig gonna really struggle. They don't really have a traditional Hunter in their lineup. A lot of people who run Freya will run those Hunters mid to compensate, but it's still gonna be okay, I think, with Thor. He typically builds a lot of penetration. I wonder if the Sun Wukong will support. Just like thinking about the matchup. The cudgel against a Freya when you could just constantly poke him. Oh,
Lord, it is.
I was like, yeah, I was like...
No. What did I tell you the other day? If Trixtank has a god with 72 transformations, you know what's about to happen, right?
He's going to steal.
He's got Wrath.
He's going to steal the red buff from Suntouch. Or from Lawbster.
Well, they
or from ShadowNightmare.
They know
Whoever's
coming.
on his team.
This is the first time. Did that catch him?
No, I don't think. I think he was out of range.
No.
Big Man might spot him out, though.
Spot him.
I think the second they saw him on one, he knows.
Spot him.
They know. They know Trixtank and Sun Wukong. They just know what's going to happen.
What do you do differently?
Big Man knows. He's going to find him. There it is.
And Trix knows
there it is.
It's over now.
The jig is up.
But now because of that, I think we might actually see them do the red buff now because they realize that. And now he's
they will do it, so for sure.
Okay. Ha! I'm just happy about that because he's got away with it so many times now. And to be fair, trying to do it against Suntouch, the one that was doing it all last split when he played support on Bacchus. Shut up.
I guarantee you Suntouch was like, do not let him steal this red. He's like, this is Trix on Wukong. He is going to try and steal our red buff, and that is it. Don't let it happen.
We've seen him do it on Erlang and Sun Wukong before, so he just loves that to get away as well. I'm the Bacchus.
Going to the Sun Wukong, though, when we talked about how Trix was 100% going to play Guan. When the Wukong got picked up, I was like, in this lane, Jingle Bang's going to be incredibly annoying for Suntouch. What you see from Wingust and Jing Wei as mid lane gets poked out pretty heavily there.
That was great from ShadowNightmare, all that free poke he got from the Archers too. That portal was just fantastic, putting the pressure on. And Lawbster, I don't think he really wanted to take Thunder Crash there, but he was forced into it.
Oh, ShadowNightmare, he has a portal, but he takes way too long to take it. Finally, is going to get out, but probably took a little bit more poke than he had intended.
However, Ducky's now rotated in to get these right-hand Harpies, which is giving lane dominance there on that left, that right-hand side too. Xaliea, as he's going to be able to free farm for a little while now.
Oh, Suntouch using his pulse to actually poke instead of clear the wave, which means Bipolar Method going to be able to clear out this wave more efficiently. You can see Trixtank. All he's trying to do right now is get out as much poke as possible onto Suntouch.
Not only that, if you could have done that Oxform a little bit earlier, would have delayed some of those pulse shots as well, meaning he wouldn't have had it available to clear the wave. But they're going to put him under the tower, and poking Suntouch early is the key here. That's what they're planning. You can already see he's down to only one health potion, one mana potion.
He's just going to be spamming those Jingo Bangs, trying to put it out as much presence as possible. We saw that with Soar when they abused Panda Cat on Freya.
Yep.
Instead, it was a little bit different, obviously. It was a Guardian who just found the stun combo into the root combo and just so much poke. Instead, Trixtank can just poke, like guaranteed. He can't miss that ability.
With Bluestone as well, he's just extra dot damage is going to continue. Now Trixtank's going to invade the back Harpies. Old school Season 1 boys will recognize this strat. Obviously, Dignitas went to the back right, so he just recognized the opportunity.
We haven't seen this style of gameplay from supports in quite some time. We've actually seen Panda start to go back into it, put some presence on the map, but Trixtank with his warriors, I mean, this is so old school, just becoming a secondary jungler.
Well, FrostiaK trying to go for a gank in the solo lane early on here. Xaliea just dashed, and Xalia's still level 4, and Xalia's going to fall down for first blood.
Brutal.
Ducky gets the kill.
Unfortunately, there Xaliea did not notice the Thor waiting, and that, he didn't have wards. He probably could have looked to the right there, but not expecting a level 4 Thor to gank him. If it was level 5, he's probably a little bit more scared.
The funny thing about that is that dash that he just did there aimed right towards him, and he was like, and at this moment, I knew.
I was dead.
I was dead.
They're gonna have a montage of it from his perspective, just the freeze frame, oh god, I'm done.
Well, left-hand side once more, a little bit. Some Wukong's hanging around the Gold Fury right now. I'm not sure what he's actually trying to do here, Trixtank.
I think he's trying to bait someone around the corner, and that's what he's gonna do.
He's trying to catch Tingz. Tingz is only level 4 here as well, so they can get some aggression with the Tiger into a stun. Perfect burst damage, and Tingz actually choosing there instead of flopping away straight away, trying to return some damage with the Belch.
I'm a little bit surprised another gank on Xaliea on the right-hand side. It's gonna be a perfect combo. First 2 kills to Dig, first 2 kills onto Xaliea.
But the Gold Fury's been started up here. ShadowNightmare has his ultimate available. I'm recognizing everybody's missing. He should have an idea. Suntouch coming around the corner as well. Has Banish available, but the Gold Fury's already dead.
Lawbster, I don't even think he got a single tick of his ult off there. Bipolar Method, once again, focusing on the objectives. But because it's an early gold, it's actually not worth that much. Gold Fury going to be scaling up over time. I believe it's 20 minutes going to be max gold efficiency, but right now, not going to happen. And because of that, Dignitas still in the lead, also successfully able to steal away the blue from Xaliea.
Not just the blue, the speed buff as well was taken on the right-hand side of the map. And that's why you see FrostiaK with it round his waist right now. He's still got his own jungle to take care as well. So that Gold Fury pretty much null and void the first 2 kills.
It's very close.
Answered back again straight away. As Dignitas now look at the left-hand balls as well. This is great from Dig.
Just even ulting for it. BigManTingz doesn't want to risk Bipolar Method coming back and finding a pick onto them. just intelligent play. They're playing much smarter in this game. Last game, they lost from doing absolutely nothing, not responding to anything Bipolar Method did. This time, taking the initiative, setting up 2 kills on Xaliea. If they lose gold, okay, let's steal away their boars, let's steal away their speed, let's steal away their blue. This is just a completely different team from last game.
Keeping that sustain away from the team of Bipolar Method, not making it as impactful later on by ganking him early is very wise.
Well, that's one of the things, yeah. The later you go, the better Guan you get, because Conviction becomes such an integral part to resetting team fights, to engage, get poke off, back off, heal up. Guess what? We're healthy, you're not. And so even if Xaliea can recover, he's going to be so many items down behind Ducky that it's going to be easier to kill him in fights, and Conviction is going to be harder to keep up.
And it's not only that either. Now that they've got this, hang on a second, gank in the mid lane coming from Thor very early on, going to find 2, get 2 purifications, space and time hit 2, and Lawbster chose the wrong path, but he's not being focused. It's Trixtank, no chance to get his ultimate off at all. Ducky credit for the kill.
And a great escape from FrostiaK as well, hammering away from the taunt right to the edge of the portal, actually goes behind Lawbster. He had no idea where he was. Probably could have turned around and hit him, but just completely confused. FrostiaK gets out, sets up a kill on a Trix as well. This is not the FrostiaK I've seen in the last 5 games.
No, he's just going off now, but he's always been very consistent on Thor for the most part.
The thing about Xaliea or FrostiaK is it's always Thor. Yeah. And the only other god he had where he would go off on was Ratatoskr. That was banned away this time. Once he gets a couple kills, FrostiaK just has so much confidence in his own play. You see him just carry the game on his back. That's what he's doing right now. He's been a part of every single kill Dig has had. He's set up Ducky in a position to win. He's invaded the jungle. He doesn't even care that Bipolar Method got a Gold Fury.
Left-hand side, Tings is just keeping Trixtank busy there. As the wave is cleared out, Trix may look towards... Sorry. FrostiaK may look to the right-hand side again. I was going to say, they do have the timer on the speed and blue buff on this right-hand side, Dignitas as well. So with the Gold Fury still being down for a while, they could look to invade this again.
More importantly about them having the speed, or excuse me, the time, as Suntouch going very aggressive on the left-hand side. He doesn't have the damage just yet to take this boxing match. Rewind coming out from Funballer, and he's right in front of Suntouch.
He's going to force the ult now, so ult for ult. Meanwhile, mid lane, QvoFred's dead, but so is Lawbster. Intoxicate coming down, Trix going back in, but he's very low. The Wrath was good to slow down BigManTingz, though. And Xaliea may clean him up as FrostiaK cleans up the other support.
The problem there is that Xaliea going for the kill, not able to protect his own team. It's okay, though, for the 1-for-1 trade right now. Ducky still pushing forward. Good job that Xaliea finally gets on the board. He's been pressured out so much, but Ducky is now just able to take what FrostiaK set him up to do and just start abusing it. Level 11 right now, highest in the game, and he's just using his lead to make team fights happen.
And now he gets a speed buff, gonna go for the blue again. Xaliea is here, but he's gonna deal with 2.
Ducky has ult.
Wall will cause a lot of issues
he's
here
dead.
for Xaliea.
I was wondering why Xaliea was going in, but there's still so many members of Bipolar Method.
Turn around, though. And now the reinforcements are back for Bipolar Method again. However, that Typhoon being down means they're actually going to back away from this one. I guess they're a little bit concerned, but now FrostiaK under pressure again, going to hammer over the wall back to safety.
No ultimate online, or just got his ultimate online, so he's going to be fine. Ult from ShadowNightmare as well, just in case
Good ult.
No one is able to get out. He actually ulted from the red. He's like, I can't get to the fight. Instead, I'm going to give you an option to get out just in case.
But credit for the placement of that ult as well. Maybe it was aimed at targets, but for me, it was more like, this is an option, and we can get you through the Fire Giant towards, and he actually went the perfect sort of route you were after.
He's a really good Janus here. BigManTingz doesn't want to give these up for free. Double knockup straight into the portal. The combo's there, but just off on the unstable vortex. Don't see Shadow miss those setup plays too often.
Not too often at all. I think that's something that was the flight of the fact that he went up in the air with the flop, comes back down into the portal and down.
I think it was a little bit, because I think that timing would have been right if he just portaled someone.
Gravity doesn't count in this game. Like if you go up and then all the way down,
well, no. So
faster.
So there's timings, right? You obviously just you naturally get accustomed to the timing of I drop a portal, I hit my 2 the second they become available. But because he was up in the air, it actually took him that extra split millisecond for him to fall down. So the unstable vortex just comes out earlier, which would have been the normal timing for just a portal into unstable combo.
We're making excuses for him, but ShadowNightmare, you suck. You missed a free unstable vortex from the portal. Gold Fury is available, however, and Dignitas could look for this one at 8 minutes 30 in. A lot more of an aggressive game than anything I've seen so far. As Tings goes in again, but he's going to get punished quite heavily for that. Luckily enough, FrostiaK is there with a very good double.
This is not who's playing on FrostiaK's account. Trixtank going in. Nice juke from ShadowNightmare. And Trix not going to be able to set up anything. That would have been bad, I think, if Trixtank had hit that stun, I think we see Lawbster go aggressive, and BigManTingz was waiting right around that corner.
Well, the Gold Fury can't be really looked at by Dignitas, even if they get a lead, while Trixtank is alive, and as I say that, they're going to force his ultimate early, which is good.
Off nothing.
He does have Wrath as well.
Just basic abilities, they find one stun and a double tap, and Trixtank has to ult. You can see the health on that decoy. That's how much health he had when he got that ult off.
Can we check experience hit, please, between these two teams and just see how this is going? 2,000 experience is not monumental.
This difference does not seem... Yeah, I feel like based on the momentum we're seeing Dig have and the presence and the pressure they have across the map, this lead seems much smaller than that.
I mean, with the Gold Fury, the gold is, I understand, but the experience is the difference there. I expected a little bit more in favor of Dignitas at this stage.
Maybe not soaking up as much waves, right? They're setting up a lot of kill potential, but not able to farm across the map. You can see Xaliea, despite being 1 and 3, being 2 levels or close to 2 levels next to Ducky.
Well, look at the duo lane here, and you can see it's a 300 gold lead for Funballer so far in this lane. Granted, Gold Fury did go the way of Bipolar Method, but at the same time, Doom is stacking up, so there is a power spike for Funballer coming right now, where Suntouch has got to wait a little bit. I say that, but he's just finished Fatalis, so I guess it's about even.
I don't know, man. Suntouch has been trying to fight no matter what. We saw him take that 1v1 with Chronos. The double taps continue, and a ton of presence on a QvoFred. Forced to purify.
If BigManTingz could have hesitated for 1 second there, potentially they could have just saved that ultimate and get the purification for free anyway. But getting that down is good as Ducky, though, cheekily looking for a speed buff on his own.
I think BigMan thought FrostiaK was going to teleport in and commit to that fight, but there was just too many members of Bipolar Method right around that corner. Probably would have been the best to engage, but Dig, now they're trying to force this lead, looking for their own Gold Fury. BigManTingz way too low to do this, though.
Look at the targets that were doing that Gold Fury then. It was actually BigManTingz tanking it, Thor auto-attacking, and Suntouch, ShadowNightmare set up. Suntouch wasn't actually there yet. He was still farming in lane, which meant it wasn't really an opportunity that Dignitas could look for.
The team's really going to have to sneak those anyways, because the Wrath is online for Trixtank, and Dignitas don't really have the best secure on the Gold Fury. They don't have a big mage burst ultimate. They have Janus ult, but that takes time to charge, and it's not always going to be the cleanest secure.
I will say, when we look at the experience and we're like, why is it not so much? But when I look at where the experience has been gifted to, it's all on Ducky. It's a 2-level lead over the Guan early on, which is great. And he's got a curse online as well, which I really think is a fantastic pickup.
And this was FrostiaK setting him up in the early game. The curse going to just continuously shut down Xaliea. He's already 2 levels down. He's already going to be an item behind once Ducky starts spinning that gold lead he has. And then he's not going to be able to heal very effectively. And then it's going to be even less effective once the reduction comes out.
This is a heavy commitment from Dignitas, because we just followed Ducky all the way across the map there, straight to the Gold Fury, trying to commit, trying to burst this one down before the boys are by.
They got to kill Trix, though.
Get there, but Trix is in the sky.
They're still doing this?
They have to drop, and the gold goes the way of Bipolar Method. What? You don't steal a Gold Fury away from Trixtank.
Suntouch finds a kill here. It's going to be trouble for Ducky as well, as Bipolar Method still pushing in, but Ducky's been left alone. Suntouch pushes forward as well. He's found 2 in this fight. There's going to be his third. Only QvoFred left standing.
And QvoFred going to run for the hills, but a good portal from ShadowNightmare will allow Suntouch. Oh, he gets away and forcing FrostiaK through. They left the kill for Suntouch, and maybe Cuvo will still live. Frosty really wants
brutal.
It.
That wasn't even 3 that I called. That was actually 4 kills for Suntouch. Quadra kill coming out. They tried to give him the Penta, and it was dropped.
I'm glad that I missed that. I'm glad that he missed that. Now, thank you so much, Dignitas, for giving Suntouch missing the Penta, because I didn't notice it.
I thought it was only 3 kills. Suntouch, though, getting the first kill in that fight, I believe. Absolutely brutal. And QvoFred able to reset, and because of that, QvoFred might be able to find some turn-up kills here at the end. FrostiaK very low, getting chased down. QvoFred, one more hit. There it is.
We'll find it. Now, Trixtank going to give chase to Ducky as well. We'll find the stun just to slow him down a bit, but Ducky very tanky at the stage with Breastplate of Valor 2, and the ultimate coming up just in the nick of time.
So going back to that Gold Fury, that was the worst thing I've ever seen handled by a professional team. Looking at Dignitas, not only did they not have a Mage Burst ultimate, but Trixtank got his ult off. He has Wrath online. There was no way they were going to secure that against them, but just the team fighting presence from them was what completely made up for it. Suntouch getting 4 kills. He got so much golden experience off that, especially onto those targets that hadn't really been killed before, so they were worth more gold. And now he's going to have that extra item.
Trix forced away and still alive. The heal coming out of space and time, not going to connect. However, Tingz thinking about giving chase there with ShadowNightmare, but instead they're going to look towards Lawbster in mid lane. Lawbster under pressure. He's got drums. He's got 4 drums, but there's 4 members of Dignitas, and he can't bang them fast enough.
I'm not saying that Bipolar Method's either playing at their best or the worst, but however this game ends, Dignitas need to go back and watch this. This is when FrostiaK is aggressive, when he's able to set up his side lanes like this. this team is different. This team is a top contender. This is someone who can beat Hungry for More in their final week and could be a top 3 team.
Well, nothing in the tier 1 tower on the left-hand side, which will answer back some of the gold we lost at the Gold Fury a little bit earlier on. Trixtank is back, but unable to defend the tier 1 tower there, and so the gold lead jumps back again, deeper into Dignitas' favor.
This is very good for them, but despite everything, and despite how much we're talking, it's only 3,500. 14 minutes in, that is very good.
I mean, that's for how much? 14 minutes.
It's still though, like I feel like it should be like 8K at this point.
Frosty going up very early here, looking for some pressure onto the right-hand side, and it was mainly onto Kivo, who was looking for a cheeky shenanigans invade of the speed buff.
Good presence of mind from FrostiaK there, recognizing QvoFred on the right side of the map. I think he had walked over that Dignitas ward at the mid camps, able to protect his speed, but his ult's going to be down, and BEM still pushing in here, looking for this tier 1 tower. FrostiaK hanging around the corner,
though. A
little
bit risky with only 4 of them being here. I mean, they saw Kivo go back, and Bipolar Method recognized that themselves, so they do back away for now. And on the left-hand side, ShadowNightmare worked in his build so far. Chronos Pendant was the first focus item for him this game. Wants to get that extra cooldown reduction. Here we go.
Is he just trying to sneak a kill or steal the red buff?
Didn't find it though. Lawbster already had it picked up as well, but I like the idea.
Look at this warding from Dignitas. Completely different than Game 1. Game 1, incredibly defensive. They didn't really do anything. Game 2, they have wards at the red. They have wards at the speed. They have wards at the blue. They have wards on every possible path that Bipolar Method could make in their own jungle. That's what gave ShadowNightmare that opportunity. Obviously, he doesn't confirm it. Not the easiest to do a cross-map Janus type and try and time it to a red buff kill, but
it's worth it.
Man,
you know, nothing's going to be going on for a little while, especially when you've taken down some towers in the left and mid lane as well. Gold Fury being down, there's no real contention point, so why not just sit back a little bit and try and find a cheeky shenanigans ult?
Funballer over here on the right-hand side, just trying to soak up some farm with Xaliea, but it's going to be trouble. He's going to be walled off and whooped in the sky.
But the Sanctuary's going to buy him a lot of time for the pulse to go through, but Suntouch still going deep with those hits and gets aggressed on immediately. Forced to ult away as Funballer.
The team is leaving Sunny alone.
And Sunny's gone very deep and he's over the portal. The portal will get him out, and into the sky goes FrostiaK too. Maybe they'll look for a re-initiation here. Typhoon hits Suntouch as well, and now he's got no escape. Suntouch has to use the wall to keep him out, and the boys of Suntouch keep him alive.
Look at the rage-filled eyes from Bipolar Method trying to kill Suntouch, able to get out with the help of ShadowNightmare, but ShadowNightmare was then in turn left alone. The ult comes out from Lawbster. Taiko Drums finds the taunt. Overall, only one person falling in that engagement.
Weird fight overall there, honestly. I mean, Suntouch, yeah, he went aggressive and then immediately...
A lot of protection.
Well, Bipolar committed to Suntouch, which I think was smart. Suntouch and the team are doing such a very good job of peeling him and getting him out of there. But at the same time, like you said, they invested so much in that a different teammate fell instead,
Well, both teams invested so much into the Hunters. First, it was the 3-man gank onto Funballer. He's able to buy time thanks to Sanctuary as well as Rewind for the rest of his squad to rotate in and start the team fight. Then it was, let's dive Suntouch right now. Great portal from ShadowNightmare, but then ShadowNightmare focusing more on getting everyone else out, gets caught by himself in a CC chain.
Well, 17 minutes in now, 15 kills in the game. 2 gold is the way of Bipolar Method, but Dignitas still hold the lead in terms of experience and gold this game. And with a 3rd Gold Fury now available, we'll probably see a lot of attention paid to that once more.
This is so weird to me. I mean, I guess it's the 2 Gold Furies from Bipolar Method. They were able to pick up the first one, as well as the second one being stripped away from Dignitas right in their face. But to that reminder, still Dignitas able to pick up a 1,500 tier 2 tower.
That's very true indeed, and Tingz is actually facing towards mid lane and gets poked by Funballer saying, "Hi, how you doing there?" Red buff is dropped, still given to ShadowNightmare here. They're not going to give it Suntouch for now.
Just, I mean...
Would you prefer on Suntouch at this point?
I mean, Suntouch doesn't have a lot of magical power online. Only 145. Red buff scales off your magical power. It's a percentage-based thing, so ShadowNightmare going to be able to utilize it a little bit better.
Just farming up in the jungle. Blue buff is available for Ducky to go and take on the right-hand side here. And that tier 1 tower is the only one that has fallen for Dignitas on that right, and they're actually going to look to pressure that down as well.
Dig. They got to still open up this map. They still got to put presence on here. They've done a really good job, but Bipolar Method just been better with those Gold Furies, been better objectively in this entire set, and they really don't have that big of a lead anymore to be able to abuse that. Xaliea is still down, but FrostiaK's even with Qvo, Lawbster's even with Shadow, BigManTingz even actually down behind Trix. It's only Suntouch right now that has a lead.
You can see the respect to Suntouch though, with the fact that they banned this Freya out. More teams keep doing this over and over again. Fight is on Trixtank, that's their focal target here, just trying to get that Wrath, or at least his ultimate first
That's unfortunate.
off of him.
Oh, QvoFred actually finds ShadowNightmare by himself.
Well, his Purification was down, Sanctuary was available for ShadowNightmare there, and his ultimate, but didn't manage to get either of those off before QvoFred took him back to base.
Great play by QvoFred there. You could see it finished actually a shifter shield straight into the Jotun's Wrath. Also, tier 1 of the next hammer item he's going, more than likely Brawler's Beatstick or Titan's Bane.
Well, the Golfier is pulled there by Xaliea for a second and then reset, but I'm going to pull it one more time. Trixtank on the way back, and I think that's what they're waiting for here. Team they're going to get a response in the game one from Suntouch.
This is dangerous. The rest of the team needs to be in position. He can whoop, sure, but he's going to get turned on immediately. There goes the whoop. It's off the mark.
And he's looking for Funballer. The trade is on, and Funballer is losing that treat so heavily to the damage
output. Does Suntouch miss?
2 shots.
He missed like the last one when the rock was in his face, but just hitting every single shot. On Funballer, who had popped Accelerate, meaning his movement speed was a little bit faster there. I mean, Dig needs to fight through Suntouch and Ducky right now. They have these big leads. Fight around them. Don't let Bipolar Method farm back into this game.
Well, that fight actually was really wise from Dignitas. Do it at the Golfier because ShadowNightmare would have respawned as well. Oh, cheeky positioning.
So he actually hit behind the Gold Fury, and I think he actually saw Trixtank rotate past the ward, but Trix hears it going on, and Suntouch is by himself still tanking Gold Fury, and he's pushing forward by himself, but FrostiaK in the air, and it's going to scare off.
This is confidence because of the fact that he's Freya, he's got his core build online, he picks up a quadra kill already, he's angry he didn't get a pentakill on top of that.
I think so.
And he's really showing the hyper carry status that Freya has.
So funny enough, going back to that fight, the rest of Dignitas stopped DPSing QvoFred because they wanted Suntouch to get the Penta.
Yep.
But QvoFred was actually able to pick up the kill in the back line.
ShadowNightmare again dead. Purification, Sanctuary, and Ultimate still available. Wasn't able to get it off again. The burst was too much. Thor's going to the sky, however, to try and defend the Gold Fury right now. And we'll see if FrostiaK comes in because Ducky's doing work and they look for Xaliea as a prime target first of all. Funballer being left alone at the back as Suntouch being run down by the cavalry charge, forcing Suntouch's ultimate.
Xalia's pretty low too, but he's still going to be able to get his conviction off, and Bipolar Method are winning this fight. Ducky was fighting 1v3 for so long, but he's not able to come up with the kill. Instead, going to pay with his own life. Lawbster takes him out. FrostiaK chasing or being chased by QvoFred in the jungle also has to take an exit, and everything Dig did right is now completely negated. Although Gold Fury not picked up by Bipolar Method.
That fight, yes, it went the way of Bipolar Method, but they stopped them. Dignitas stopped them getting the Gold Fury, and that's very important for them. They lose only Ducky. It was a 4v5 that, remember? 4v5 that Dignitas had to defend, and they did a good job of it.
I feel like Dignitas just took their foot off the gas after that dropped Pinnakill. It just seems like we hadn't seen FrostiaK ult since then. And he had to ult defensively in that situation. Also, ShadowNightmare needs to position himself better, or Dig need to ward a little bit deeper into their own jungle. That's the 3rd time in a row he's just been picked off.
Could be fired from ShadowNightmare at any moment now. He's very deep in his own jungle on purpose, looking for a cheeky snipe through there, which will do a lot more damage. And there it is, looking for the steal, but just a little bit too late. I like the aim, I like the idea, Shadow, but the Wrath saves the day.
And that Wrath has already paid dividends right now. That's 3 Gold Furies able to be secured because of that. Now, you know, that last one, obviously ShadowNightmare was close. I don't know if this is the Wrath that actually secured it, but it does open up a lot of confidence for Bipolar Method. They're like, even if he has his ult, we can still confidently do this.
Well, QvoFred has crept himself up to 4-0-1 now, and a lot of those kills, he's just randomly come out of nowhere to find
I think 2 or 3 of them, I think 2 of them were ShadowNightmare, just like by himself, caught out. Dignitas were not grouped at the time. ShadowNightmare completely caught off guard. And I think the other 2 were actually ShadowNightmare as well, and just team fights.
Well, Susano is very good at chasing down Janus anyway. You go through a portal, you can jet stream through to him if you've connected with it, or even pull him away from his portal again. Dignitas, though, starting to try and apply some pressure to this right-hand side. Going to take a tier 1 tower.
Fully grouped up now as a 5-man unit. They want to team fight a little bit more effectively right now. FrostiaK, though, hasn't been able to farm efficiently. He set up a lot of kills, but focusing on getting the rest of his team ahead. Now only level 16 at 23 minutes, and we're starting to see Bipolar Method creep up in levels. FrostiaK's going to have a much harder time here.
I love the idea of FrostiaK there. What he's actually doing waiting around here is just make sure they're not doing Fire Giant, because the rest of his team wanted to base and go back to farming, but he didn't want to just leave an opportunity where Bipolar Method were grouped up to sneak a fire.
Remember game 1 that happened.
That's
game
true.
1 they snuck it with a Fafnir who wasn't even in the engagement. But Bipolar Method in this situation, obviously they're up in gold, but they haven't really had the momentum recently.
Well, 3 members and the carries are really showing themselves on the right-hand side there in terms of Freya and the Janus. Means that Bipolar Method will return their attention to around the Fire Giant pit one more time, and the dance will begin.
this could go on for an indefinite amount of time. You can see the warding going to be going the way of...
Suntouch going to be careful about how far forward he goes in the run, because if Lawbster Thunder Crash is over, he's going to force out his ultimate or his purification or anything straight away.
I mean, that's what the last time we saw ShadowNightmare die was QvoFred pulls him, and then immediately the Thunder Crash from Lawbster combined with the Raijin. There was nothing ShadowNightmare could do to react in time, unless he instant sanctuaried, but I think his purification was down, so he's just CC chained.
Tingz in mid lane, level 15 right now. Has Urchin online, is in the jungle. A bit of aggression around that speed buff, which is not available just yet, but with Ducky and Suntouch on defensive duties, they'll stand tall for the time being and force the Bipolar Method out.
And the momentum has completely shifted right now. Dignitas not able to push up anywhere into Bipolar Method's jungle. Instead, Bipolar Method starting to gain a little bit more presence on the map. You can see Trixtank looking to open up opportunities to steal that speed buff there. FrostiaK barely able to pick it up, and all 5 members of BM very grouped here around the Fire Giant. They do have to worry about this double global, though, from FrostiaK and ShadowNightmare. Yeah. They can't just do it. They've got to pick a kill first.
It almost looks like a ward bait coming out from them here. They've dropped that ward right in their face where they saw it, and Lawbster's dropped that one down as well. And what they were really after is finding a pick, and instead, Trixtank gets turned on, but Banish lasts a little bit longer than they used to in the early stages, so the ward wars continue.
And Trix still
have the ward.
He still just comes out with that, and they're just continuously baiting that. That's twice now that we've seen Trix do a really good job of baiting, because he's ShadowNightmare there getting very low once again. Bipolar Method doing a great job of making him uncomfortable in team fights. Don't give him any room to breathe.
And it's funny because I expected to see Susano potentially focus onto Freya at this stage of the game, but instead it's focused only on ShadowNightmare. The rest of the team are able to get to Freya at the back and force the ult.
I think he's a little bit worried about aggression, as FrostiaK, I think, went to the sky in this fight. You can hear him channeling his ult, and he's going to come down on Trix, who just immediately ults away.
But Suntouch going to get a lot of free damage off onto Xaliea, but Xaliea heals that up nicely once again. An ult for ult trades overall there, just one on the side of Bipolar Method used. However, Dignitas did use the Thor and the Janus ultimate in that engagement.
Both their globals, and I think Bipolar Method know that this means they're going to have an easier time at the Fire Giant. Going to be starting it up right now. ShadowNightmare and FrostiaK, they've got cooldown reduction, but it's not going to be up on time. Trixtank, though, in trouble.
They're going to zone him out as much as he can and try and pick him off beforehand. Trix is still getting low, but the drums are sounded by Lawbster. Suntouch doesn't care, though. He will secure it with the ultimate. Quvo, however, is going to look straight for Suntouch and forced out because ShadowNightmare is going to block his path. They chase out QvoFred on the left. They pick up Trix, and they're in a good position now, Dignitas.
Trix survived for so long. BigManTingz going in, though. Going to find the knock-up here, and it's going to be Xaliea answering back, looking for the stun on Cavalry Charge, but the meditation keeping him healthy.
And Susano is back in the action, too, looking towards ShadowNightmare one more time. He fell through the port at the end, which keeps him up. Xalia's getting a little bit low, dashes away, but the support from Funballer is there now. The carry has turned up, and Thor is back in the side, so Funballer's got to be careful.
Oh, he gets landed on. Going to be trouble for him as he's walled off with Ducky in tow as well. That's going to be one death for Dignitas. ShadowNightmare very low. Finally gets picked up as Ducky answers back. 1v1 in this fight. FrostiaK around the corner. And overall, a 3 for 2.
And now you can just see they're both going to fall back to their own half of the map now as Trixtank has the first one to respawn now. Speed buff, blue buff available again. No one really got anything out of that overall, Janus. It was just a bloodbath. Everybody died.
Everyone was really separated in that fight. ShadowNightmare getting picked up in the back once again. Trix dying at the start of that engagement, which I think it means I think did get 4 kills in the end, but they were very spread out.
Dignitas' decision there to re-aggress once they picked up that kill on Trixtank and everybody on Bipolar Method fell back. The re-aggression in the jungle actually cost them the man advantage they had there. Because of that, they just don't have anything now. Whether or not they could have got Fire Giant with the man advantage, yeah, okay, I could understand, going for more as well, but they don't get anything.
The main issue is that they had already burned 2 of their big ultimates, right? FrostiaK and ShadowNightmares. And then they had invested even more ultimates into killing Trixtank. So they didn't have a lot of team fighting potential. All their abilities were down, but they were still chasing. Once Bipolar Method, once their cooldowns were reset, they just went right back on him.
Suntouch must hate Trixtank right now. Like, he's tried to
steal that's like twice. The 3rd time.
And every time Trixtank just says, someone's doing my Golf Fury, and immediately just rotates over and goes,
I have wrath. This is not mine, it's yours. Just like those mid-harpies, Trixtank, Jingo Bang secures them just barely. Working on a winged blade now. A little bit worried about the slows coming out from Janus and Freya.
Well, there's a lot of slows on that team. Freya, Janus, Bacchus as well. I mean, there's plenty of things that will slow him down and just allow him to be picked up a little bit more.
Bellona as well. Just a lot. Bonus movement speed is always good.
Witchblade here instead of the Wingblade if he wants. I think Witchblade wouldn't be a bad option
either. Oh, no, you're right. It's probably going to be Witchblade against the Freya as FrostiaK still trying to set up stuff for Dig. Going for the Witchblade, obviously, it's going to be a lot of physical protection, which won't be overall good for the comp. FrostiaK, his damage, not anything he's worried about, just having that anti-attack speed reduction. I'd almost rather see a Runic Shield from him,
that's what I was
which
thinking,
is surprising to not see that just yet.
And that's why maybe it's going to be a Wingblade this time around and not the Witchblade, because maybe he'll go into that a little bit later on in terms of once he sells that Bluestone pendant off, potentially. We'll see if we do see some Runic Shields coming out, though.
Trixtank going for that very early Urchin, though, and not really
just like,
able
where's
to
the monkey?
to
I
stack
want to do
it
this
up.
gold over it. Oh, he's not good. He's looking for Lawbster.
Oh.
But he misses the banish. He gets turned on. However, turned on for a second, but they're not feeling it, the boys here, as FrostiaK was in the sky and actually looking at Xaliea, who reinitiates with cavalry charge.
That was a whole lot of investment into Xaliea, and Bipolar Method might be able to turn this. Janus actually used aggressively just to get damage off, and it's going to be a reset from both teams, but only one team has Guan there. The heal going to be coming through. Ducky under half, and Dig have to back off.
That's the problem is the investment they just created on that. They used 3 ultimates, the side of Dignitas and Bipolar Method. They only used Lawbsters, so now they have an opportunity to re-aggress there. They've got basically 2 lives on Trixtank. They've got the Xaliea cavalry charge will be available again soon, and then Funballer as well.
Shadow by himself once again. QvoFred, he's got to stop doing that. Caught alone, opening up an opportunity for Bipolar Method to push forward, and it's Qvo again.
And they knock up Suntouch again, but he's got the Sanctuary to keep him alive for now. Still QvoFred going in deep, and Suntouch realizes he's got to fight his way out of this one, and the burst damage onto Xaliea is going to force him back again, but with conviction he will be able to heal this back up.
Still too much damage for Bipolar Method to get greedy like that. They're going to focus on the tower instead. They're going to siege up. They still have Xaliea. This is still a 4 versus 5. They have the healing to do this, and no one on Dig is in position right now. But Frosty's in the sky.
Coming straight down on Trixtank though, who ults immediately. Lawbster meanwhile on the right side was being aggressed on for a second, but does get away. Funballer's been left alone though, and the double tap on the mark from FrostiaK brings down the carry.
Ducky pushing forward. Lawbster forced to purify away. Ducky's not going to give this up just yet, and he does get the Sanctuary out. BigManTingz with the knockup perfectly. Thunder Crash goes through.
Just before the wall came down too, and now that means that they're going to have to continue chasing. Great slows from Trixtank and Xaliea coming into.
Is that a TP?
QvoFred finds Suntouch coming out of base. QvoFred is finding these picks at the backline. They're ignoring the assassin, and he just keeps going, marching on in terms of kills.
FrostiaK is well into that backline. Mantle of Discord going to pop. He's going to have the 3-man stun, but it's not enough. Trixtank getting the kill. FrostiaK tries to come up with a sneaky play, actually teleporting to the ward in mid. And just shoutouts to Trixtank on that one. Just delaying the chase. Dignitas was trying to push into Lawbster there. Just bought him enough time for the rest of Bipolar Method to clean up.
For me, it's a tale of 2 junglers this game as well. I mean, FrostiaK and QvoFred are both having fantastic games.
Beautiful.
FrostiaK reinitiating multiple times, finding it very important double taps to bring down prime targets. And QvoFred, somehow he's sneakily assassin-like getting around the map.
He's actually an assassin right now.
Appearing around corners and then going, what's up? And then finding 3 kills because of it.
I mean, there's 6 deaths on ShadowNightmare, most in the game across both teams right now. Only Xaliea close, and he got farmed the first 10 minutes of the match.
I will say this is not a normal ShadowNightmare game. He's not having the greatest game. I'm not sure exactly.
I mean, I don't know if this is ShadowNightmare not positioning himself or if it's just Xaliea playing, or I mean, QvoFred playing everything perfectly.
Well, Fire Giant has been started and still being held by Funballer 4 now, but it's reset as Trixtank is aggressing on Ducky and BigManTingz, and Ducky's giving as good as he got there, but now he's being forced out because the shred from Tyler with Salt is causing him havoc.
And there's the knockup as well. ShadowNightmare was in mid by himself. QvoFred trying to find the kill, but he's going to let Shadow get out. FrostiaK trying to peel for Suntouch, who's getting isolated right now by Trixtank. BigManTingz there to help him.
Wall comes down, but round the back was Funballer, and Lawbster's had enough. Thunder Crash and Drums of War gets him 2 kills. He looks towards BigManTingz, and they're going to run him down as well. 3 kills for the mid laner from Bipolar Method.
Tower's going to fall as well, and ShadowNightmare pushing up mid. You can see those minions there. He gets caught by QvoFred. Even though Shadow doesn't die in that engagement, he was a non-factor because he was forced out so early. Ducky now going to try and stop this. Bipolar Method pushing in. His curse is going to delay it, but there's still 5 members.
Great Eagles right from Ducky, but I don't think it's going to stop him from
Where's
falling
his team?
down. They're all dead. That's where his team is. And ShadowNightmare now being forced out again by QvoFred, forced to purify away.
That could
Phoenix
be game.
on the right will fall.
17 seconds on BigManTingz. BM going to take the safe route, though. Start whittling down these Phoenixes. This is the last one that's still open. Obviously, Tower's on the left-hand side. ShadowNightmare walks in and just dies.
I mean, to be fair, Qvo went in on him now, and that's what Qvo's doing time and time again. We gotta give credit where it's due. Qvo's actually just playing this so well is one of the reasons why Shadow's not looking great this game as well.
I mean, Susano, first off, Susano has a fantastic matchup against ShadowNightmare. It is very hard for ShadowNightmare to get away from QvoFred once he finds him. The main issue is that ShadowNightmare is always by himself in those scenarios. scenarios. Obviously, you have the pool, which can take people away, to take the Janus away from the wall, as well as the jet stream, which you can teleport to after a Janus goes through his own portal.
Well, Bipolar Method has turned this on its head now as this game's gone on. However, Dignitas can still defend. They've got 2 towers left on the left-hand side and a Phoenix. With the fire giant up, they can still hold.
I am so surprised that Dignitas is put in this situation. Obviously, they can still win this game. They have a Freya in the late game scenario. ShadowNightmare on the Janus, going to be doing a lot of damage as well. Once he gets, I believe it's going to be a Soul Reaver online. FrostiaK's got a ton of CC, same with Ducky, but they were so far ahead in the early game.
Suntouch needs 300 gold right now to get his Rodder to Hui online, but while that was going on, the Fire Giant's been done. Obviously, they had the men advantage of people being dead again, and Dignitas forced to do fire minions. But with Suntouch, if he can get to this Rodder to Hui...
No, he's trying to get the red. This could be dangerous. Suntouch has no way out of this one. He's not even going to be able to pick up this red if Lawbster realizes it. And Lawbster actually able to steal that away. And now Suntouch gonna have to run back to his base.
Yeah, just go and defend down the left-hand side. Luckily enough, though, Tier 1, Tier 2 towers stand, so they can't really chase them too deep down this side. But with a Fire Giant on them, it won't take long for these towers to fall down here. And even Qvo gone all the way back down the lane here, just to make sure he can clear out these minions and allow his minions to push.
Tahuti online for Suntouch, though. The team fight presence is going to be strong. It's on the Bipolar Method to make sure he's not comfortable, try and force out his ult. And honestly, they have great dive tools. Wukong, as well as Guan Yu, and then even a Chronos, although it's pretty dangerous this late into a game for a Chronos to dive deep and look for a rewind. But Thunder Crash from Lawbster, like, well, he's got to position himself perfectly, and even if he does, he's still going to need to rely on his team to help him out.
For me, Qvo put this team on his back this game. That's what it feels like to me. The whole game has been on his back, and with FrostiaK diving in there, they've immediately disengaged for now. FrostiaK gets a very good double tap off, and Lawbster is forced out by the Suntouch pulse damage from that Freya.
Look at this. Once again, you can see ShadowNightmare very pushed up by himself, and QvoFred is going straight for him while the rest of the team looks to engage, and ShadowNightmare is forced out to the right side of the map. This is going to be a 5v4.
And now they engage with the cavalry charge from Xaliea. Lawbster's going in too, not scared, looking for Suntouch. One hit was good, the second one unable to go through. Suntouch still alive for now. I say that as he's still being aggressed under his fountain as Trix still looking for the kill.
Bipolar Method chaining in here. Lawbster finds FrostiaK. ShadowNightmare very close to death, but barely gets out. Ducky now fighting 1 versus 3, completely body blocked in between the wall and the minions. And only 2 players left remaining for Dignitas, but no Phoenixes and Fire minions into their Titan.
20 to 15, 35 minutes in. We've got 35 minutes and 35 kills for now. I say that as Bipolar Method looking for a couple more inside the fountain. ShadowNightmare says no, not today. But Suntouch can kill Lawbster, but he cannot save his Titan this game. Dignitas, well, they had the potential to split there, but it's 2-0 Bipolar Method.
Really, full credits to Dignitas, though. That was a really well-played game against the #2 team in Europe right now. Bipolar Method is historically a top 3 team, and anytime you even come close to taking a game, it's been a good set. Unfortunately, though, they weren't able to keep up their pressure. Early game, great job by FrostiaK. Full credit to him. He was able to set up Ducky specifically for a winning lane.
Not just that, but then they pushed Suntouch through as well because there was pressure on their map that allowed Suntouch to just farm.
I mean, even the awareness to understand that Trix was going to try and steal their red, they had very deep wards.
And here's the goal for replay, which led to a quadra kill as well for Suntouch. But you can see what happens here. Trix gets up and they try and reset. It seems that way, but Ducky,
they did try and reset.
BigManTingz backs away into the pit at the same time as Ducky still had aggro.
That's unfortunate.
They tried to reset there,
they were very close to playing that perfectly, and then Suntouch, you just see, just start shredding all these low members. Everything's lined up perfectly for him. And I think, going back to this, they may regret trying to give him the kill.
I think they thought the wall was enough.
I think they're going to regret trying to give it, because QvoFred was able to find another kill after that engagement.
And I still think getting the kill is more important.
Probably. If you don't let someone have a pentakill, they're going to rage.
Well, these were some kills that we missed in the game with how QvoFred was playing this, chasing down Shadow all the time, even using the blink just to close the gap every time. He does invest everything into him, but he's just after him alone every time.
It's very hard. Just look at that burst, too. I mean, ShadowNightmare goes from 100 to 30% before he even has time to react. Yep. I mean, it was really hard for him. I think his positioning, though, he was off by himself in a lot of scenarios, and I think that's what QvoFred was able to punish more than anything.
Well, just a reminder once again, we do have one more set to still bring you today, which is going to be Bipolar Method once again in a doubleheader. Going to be facing off against Fantastique, which is a game that was scheduled for tomorrow but rescheduled to today.
Bipolar Method looking really good against Dignitas. Fantastique, though, I mean, they've kind of crept around a little bit. We've seen a couple splits from them. This is a team that has potential Bipolar Method, I think, are going to have a little bit better of a matchup, though.
Well, don't forget, on Tuesday, we do have the PvE Mountain, the Jingta Mountain about to release. And if you want to play that with all the gods available to you, you should head over there right now and make sure you get the god pack, because it's the last day of this sale.
Hey, Bipolar Method also, they were playing that in preparation for the games day, got to round 37. See if you can beat them, get the god pack, and beat Jingtin's Mountain.
Beat Jingtin's Mountain. And with that, we'll cut to a break. As the boys at Bipolar Method get ready, we'll get ready too and see how they do against Fantastic.